Catching up on World War I here at Gamescom in the business area, the Holland Pavillion, I think it is. First of all, can you tell us a little bit about what motivated you to do games set during World War I? Because that's quite a challenge.
Yes, World War I, well, it's a team you don't see in games often. Verdun is the first World War I shooter that's really well commercially available. It's a really interesting team because it's kind of a forgotten war due to the World War II. It's kind of overshadowed, and there's practically it's a non-existent game. So that was really the motivation for us to make it. Also, it's a really interesting war. With all the factions and how the war they did it back then. So, yeah.
So in terms of the mechanics, of course, World War I was so different from World War II in terms of where the weapons were, how warfare was being carried out. What does that mean for the player experience?
Yeah, so we try to recreate that actual trench warfare. We take that concept of the trench warfare and we make it gameplay out of it. So in Verdun you have the frontline game mode, and you have like these long stretch maps of like 1 kilometer in depth. And you try to, just like in the trench warfare, you have an attacking side and defending side, and you try to overtake the enemy trenches and get as much meters as possible to fight as far as you can. And whoever gets the most trenches of the enemy wins the game.
So it's almost like a game mode, just by the way that it actually was.
Yeah, it's really interesting concept. Yeah, for a game mode. Yeah.
So you've launched onto early access. Can you tell us a little bit about the idea there and the work that's going on into the game right now?
Well, we're in pretty long early access now, like a year, and a lot has changed. If you look at the videos from last year. You can see a lot of changes, but now it's much better. We updated the graphics, enhanced the gameplay, and we're still not done yet. Because we're still in early access, still tweaking. We plan to release soon, so we're nearing the final stage, but we're still improving, adding new squads, maps. So it will change more, but we're really nearing release. But so far the early access has been good for us. It gave us already a steady player base and sales, of course, which allowed us to get more budgets to hire more freelancers to help us with the actual game. So it was really beneficial for us to get in early access.
So can you tell us a little bit about sort of the studio and how you've grown with the project and what that process has been like?
Yeah, so Verdun is actually made by 2 studios. You have N2H and Blackmail. And N2H is a 2-man company, which I'm from, and you have Blackmail, which is a 1-man company. So we have like the core team is 3 people, but recently we started hiring more people. The reason we have 2 studios, because we're friends from a long time ago. Verdun is an older ID. It's like 5 years ago, but we didn't have the experience back then. So once we had the experience, like 2 years ago, we started the serious development, and well, that's where we're now.
Right. And you already mentioned that it's gearing up to full release. What's Gamescom been like for you guys, and sort of what's the reactions been like?
The reactions have been good. People think the team is really interesting. It's refreshing. It reminds them of the nostalgic times with Call of Duty 2, with the actual bolt reaction rifles. Most of the games nowadays are really focused on machine guns, explosions, and this is an old, refreshing, new take on a first-person shooter. So the reactions have been good.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, no problem.